Once heralded as just a holiday for the older, more wealthy end of the market, cruising is now becoming more and more popular with younger travellers. With cruise ships beginning to cater for a younger audience and the prices becoming more affordable, this week on Planet Cruise Weekly, we take a look at cruising for the young or the young at heart. Well, hello and welcome to episode 70 of Planet Cruise Weekly, where once again I'm joined on the Planet Cruise sofa, which actually looks a bit like a table and two chairs, by Jade, one of our lovely cruise experts. Jade, I can see that you've still been enjoying that sunshine. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. It's lovely to be back.
Now, cruise holidays have always had a stigma attached to them, and of course they used to be frequented by maybe older, more wealthier people. This really isn't the case any longer. And in recent years, several cruise lines have started really changing things up and have opened the door for younger travellers to join the cruising way of life. And today we want to look at that and discuss why we think cruising is a great option for younger people.
Now let's start with what could arguably be the most important point, or one of the most important points, which is price. Now, as we said in the past, cruises were often reserved for the wealthy, but those prices have come down a lot now. It's supply and demand. The cruise industry is growing at a huge rate, and because there's more competition out there, now the prices have slowly started to fall.
Cruise prices, though, can still, however, look a little bit daunting at the first time of looking at it, but that's because you're not really thinking about the whole picture. You need to remember that most of the food you consume on board will be included in the price, and we only say most because there is the option of eating at specialty restaurants on board for a fee, but you could eat for free if you wanted to very well for the whole cruise. And often the fee that you would pay if you go for a specialty restaurant isn't actually very big at all. It's much lower than the price you pay for that quality of food landside. So if you consider what you might pay every day for food on a normal holiday and then put that into the overall cost of a cruise, suddenly you see what great value it is.
Another reason cruise holidays are such good value for money is that you have all of your entertainment thrown into the price as well. Now this can be anything from musicians or comedians in the lounges through to a full Broadway show in the main theatre. They have DJs at the bars, they have nightclubs for the evenings.
Now the next thing to consider after that, of course, is your bar bill. Drinks prices on cruise ships do vary greatly from brand to brand. For example, on P&O, the bar prices are very similar to maybe going out in a London pub. Others, yes, can be a bit more expensive. Others could be cheaper. A lot of cruise lines, though, offer something called a drinks package, where you buy a day's or a whole cruise's worth of drinks for a set fee. And these are brilliant value, especially if you do intend on having more than a couple of drinks every day.
Interestingly, a few cruise lines are starting to go all-inclusive, either on specific ships or even fleet-wide. Now, most recently, Norwegian Cruise Lines has gone fleet-wide all-inclusive, and funnily enough, this is actually aimed at a younger traveller anyway, that particular cruise line. Now, you should also keep your eye out for cruise deals, which vary from month to month, so they may actually throw in a drinks package or keep an eye out for special offers.
And when we do say all-inclusive, as we were rightly talking about before, Jay, we are talking about that including all your drinks, all your meals, and also your gratuities, which is your tips on board. So pretty much what you pay up front is what you're going to pay, apart from a little bit of pocket money maybe when you go ashore. Now, one of the big misconceptions that still remain about cruising is that you have to adhere to a strict schedule, especially when it comes to the dining. Historically, cruisers had to pick early or late dinner sittings, and they would end up sitting with the same people every evening. But all of that is starting to change, with several lines now offering freestyle or anytime dining as an option instead. And this means, of course, you have the option to turn up to eat at any time, but within a set period, of course, and at a place you choose, rather than when they tell you to. And there's a big difference in that.
Obviously, if you're looking to eat at one of the chargeable specialty restaurants, then you'll probably have to make a reservation in the same way as you would for a land restaurant. The great news is that if you aren't worried about the way to serve food, then a lot of cruise ships offer buffets, self-service buffets, which open up to about 20 hours a day, sometimes even 24 hours. It's very dangerous. Plus, Plus the buffets are all becoming more and more lavish with a truly global approach to dining. You can have a Thai starter, an Italian main and a North American dessert.
Now the sheer choice of dining options on board cruise ships is incredible, and there can be anywhere from maybe 3 to 23 different places to eat on board. Now whether you want burger and chips or pizza or sushi or Brazilian or maybe Chinese or Mediterranean, a huge steak or a gorgeous succulent lobster, the chances are there'll be something on board for you. So next up, let's have a quick look at onboard activities. Now, with the advent of new super ships from lines such as Royal Caribbean, MSC and Carnival and Norwegian cruise lines, the sheer amount of onboard activities you can take part in has increased tenfold. In fact, the things that you could previously only do on land that are now rapidly becoming mainstays on these floating cities are incredible. For example, you can hit the gym or go to the spa, yes, but then there's rock climbing where you can race against your friends as you climb up, or maybe F1 simulators, again where you can race, or maybe you can bump your friends in the classic dodgems.
In fact, the newer ships from NCL actually have go-karts that you can race over 2-tier racetracks on the very top part of the ship.
Amazing.
Whilst the Harmony of the Seas has a giant slide called the Abyss, I think it's called. It stretches from deck 16 on the top of the ship down to deck 10. So if you don't fancy waiting for the lift or going down the stairs, you can just take the slide. It's crazy. Of course, if all of that is a bit active for you, then there are always the Broadway shows, or if you happen to be on an MSC ship, the incredible Cirque du Soleil shows that they offer. Cruise lines are constantly innovating and with what they add to their ships and stuff you can do, and so far they've done a pretty good job.
And the formality of a cruise is another one of the outdated misconceptions that's sadly still hanging around the cruise industry. This idea that everyone's dressed up to the nines every evening in a tweed waistcoat and a monocule and a smoking pipe, and slippers. Maybe one day, but it's not realistic for today. I mean, you've not seen that, have you, Jay?
No.
When you're trying to cruising, it's just not realistic. Yes, there are formal nights on board, some of the more traditional cruise lines, and there is maybe an encouraged dress code for that, but you don't have to necessarily participate. You don't have to go into the lounges where that's happening, and it's even great to maybe look at that as a chance just to dress up and have fun, but it's only one night. There are some cruise lines that have no dress code whatsoever, and there are always parts of any cruise ship, no matter what the dress code, where you can just head there and eat, just as I am here in a shorts or t-shirt. So next up, let's talk about the ease of travel when it comes to cruising.
One of the great things about cruising has always been the ability to see many different places all on one trip, and you only need to unpack once. This can be made even easier if you don't have to fly to meet your ship and actually sail from the UK. Although we should warn you that at times the crossing to the Med, for example, can get a bit choppy depending on the time of year. Of course, the one great thing about a cruise is that you can do as little or as much as you like.
So let's now have a quick look at what we feel are some of the leading cruise lines when it comes to offering a slightly younger cruise experience. First of all, we're going to start with MSC. They offer cheaper, shorter cruises than most other cruise lines, and they sail around the Mediterranean, which is a very accessible and quick area to get to. They're perfect for younger passengers because the ships themselves feature loads of bars and spas and fitness centres. They've got great shopping options. There's a good abundance of live music and theatre shows. And on their Fantasia class ships, they've got an adult-only top deck called Top 18, and it features spa services, bars and relaxation pods, perfect for young couples.
Next we have our P&O cruises. Now this is something that could surprise people, and in fact P&O cruises actually have some amazing facilities to accompany younger cruisers, such as pubs, nightclubs, casinos, cinemas and much more. P&O is well known for being a very British cruise line, and why that is true, you won't be bombarded as you have the chance to make the cruise whatever you want of it.
Absolutely. Now some of the itineraries that P&O feature include the Caribbean, where you'll be able to discover the wonderful islands, or if you're just looking for a sample of what a cruise is like, then P&O do offer a number of short 2 or 3 night sailings from Southampton. But it should be noticed that these are quite popular with stag, hen and birthday do's, so they can often be known as quite boozy affairs.
So Carnival is next, and it's often referred to as the world's most popular cruise line and the American style of ship. Now these have developed themselves a really strong reputation for being a fun party cruise, extremely lively feel at a very good price. It features clubs, bars, casinos and some of the largest vessels at sea.
Now during the day with Carnival, you'll have no problem finding something to do, as their ships include things like mini golf and basketball, and always a water park as well. And live shows and entertainment are included in the package, and there's also an adult-only retreat area for over 18s where you can recover from the previous night's activities and maybe top up your tan. And there's a major plus for Carnival as well with their Carnival live programme, where legendary comedians and musicians perform a concert landside mid-cruise. Next up, Norwegian Cruise Lines are an absolute perfect choice for young people. They've got music-themed cruises that feature music from top chart artists through to ice bars and plenty of on-deck activities. Norwegian Cruise Line ships offer a lot of single cabins, really good prices, and perfect for people to go away, cruise on their own and possibly make new friends. Now, the single cabins are not only a great price, but they also have a singles bar area where you can meet and mingle, and a bulletin board should you really wish to get together and make new friends.
Some of what NCL offers include the live music, casinos, clubs, bars and spa, their legendary white hot party and the first ever ice bar to be included on a cruise ship.
Now, famed for possessing the world's largest cruise ships, the party scene is very hot on Royal Caribbean, who I'm sure you'll have heard of. Royal Caribbean are largely known for being the huge innovators of the market-leading skydive simulator. Also, they innovated with the Flow Rider, which is their surfing simulator, and of course they were the first to bring ice rinks onto the ship with full-on professional ice skating shows. Now, during the day, you won't have a problem finding something to do, as they do boast a huge selection of different things, hundreds of opportunities for possible activities, all the way through to rock climbing, to ice skating that we talked about before, to bumper cars, you name it, and they've got it.
And at night, Royal Caribbean's ships come to life with live music, performances, you've obviously got the casinos you can go into and lots of different bars and clubs. They quite often will put on a party in the Royal Promenade as well for everybody.
Almost like a Mardi Gras, isn't it? As they kind of parade down with the brass band. Pullmantur are up next, and they're a cruise line that Planet Cruise have only recently started working with, though they have been around, of course, for longer than that. And we should point out that they are a Spanish line, and that you'll find, of course, a lot of Spaniards on board, which is a good thing. But if you are looking for a more British feel, then this may not be the best cruise line for you. Pullmantur's main aim is to ensure that guests have the most stress-free experience possible, which sounds great to me. And one way in which they do this is by making their cruises all-inclusive.
Pullmantur also offer a number of themed cruises, including the Waterland Festival. Waterland is a dance festival on the ship, and it spends its time going around the Balearics and features loads of different and famous dance DJs on board and a much younger crowd than your normal cruise holiday. Although saying that, I did have an 80-year-old man who booked onto it, and I said, you know, this is a party cruise. Yeah, I want to get involved with the party.
Last of the old great ravers.
Yeah, exactly. But Pullmantur, if you want to kind of get an idea of the vibe, it's like floating Spain. You know, Brits love Spain. We've got loads of expats out there, and that's the kind of feeling on board.
That's a good thing. Now, at this point, we're also going to mention something called You by Uniworld, and this is a brand new endeavour by Uniworld. And Uniworld are a river cruise brand, and it's a new take on the kind of travel experience you get with river cruising, because it's designed for those with a passion for exploring and a taste for authentic adventures. The cruises are going to be quite incredible. They're going to be designed for younger travellers in mind, and they're going to have things like mixology classes on board, through to get this silent discos, which, hat off to Uniworld, very cool inclusion. You
can even pick itineraries that feature local festivals like the Paris Jazz Festival or the often slightly tipsy Oktoberfest. In general, the U cruises will be even more relaxed than your average cruise, offering more late nights and more overnight stays, giving guests the opportunity to explore the nightlife. Now, we could go into much more detail on You by Uniworld, but we're actually going to save that for another episode, so please keep your eyes peeled for that one.
But if you do want some more information right now because you're desperate to wait and find out, then click the link there and it will take you through to our website and give you a bit more of an idea about some of what You for Uniworld is all about. So finally, just some top tips for finding the right cruise for you if you are a younger cruiser or certainly young at heart. Well, the general rule of thumb when it comes to cruising is still that the longer the cruise, the older the crowd is likely to be. So if you're looking for a younger group on your cruise, then aim for a shorter cruise of 3 days to maybe a week.
Cruises out of the UK do tend to attract an older clientele who don't like to fly. So for a younger crowd, do try a fly cruise. However, the exclusion to this are the 2 and 3 day booze cruises, mini cruises out of the UK.
Now, if you pick up an all-inclusive cruise, it will tend to have a younger demographic. I know, yeah, we're hitting all the stereotypes here, but there is truth to all this. And the other one as well is that if you opt for a hotter destination, again, you'll tend to attract a younger demographic. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more of an idea about why we feel cruising is such a great thing for people of all ages to do, but particularly, of course, for this episode, those that are younger or maybe young at heart. I don't suppose I can call myself young anymore, so I've got to go for the young at heart, but you still definitely fall into the young category. Now, if you want to get in touch and give us some feedback, tell us what you'd like to see, please do. If people do want to get in touch, Dave, what do they do?
You can email us at hello@planetcruise.co.uk, contact us on Facebook, Twitter, or leave a comment on the video today.
Yeah, and again, the more you tell us, the more we can tailor what we do to suit you. So please do continue to get in touch. Every week we do have lots of people, and we have to peel them down to just 2 that we want to mention. And today that's going to be, first of all, Louise Williams. She spoke to us on Twitter, all about Royal Caribbean. She said, I can't wait to get on board Brilliance of the Seas next week. Louise, we hope you had an absolutely fantastic time, and can you get back in contact with us and maybe send us a few photos through, please? And also from Facebook, we had Nicola Jones getting in touch about the Independence of the Seas deal, and she said, did this cruise for my honeymoon last year. It was our first ever cruise. We love the Indy and everything about it. Amazing ship, food, entertainment, ice skating, shops, pools and jacuzzi. So Nicola, again, thank you very much for getting in touch. Send us some photos. We want to see this. We want to see you ice skating, you know, enjoying all those different things. Thanks very much for watching. Have a wonderful week. From myself and Jade, we'll say ta-ta.